I mean, right.
Because R-E-S-P-C-T, you know what that means to me, okay?
And please respect humans beings. Human beings.
Please respect the humans.
Come on, take a ride. We're here by your side. Sit down, shut up, and grab a drink. You're healing with the Disco Queens. Hey, groovy people. I'm Susanna.
And I'm Alex.
And you're listening to Healing with the Disco Queens. We are back and better than ever. We're finishing up our season 2. Yes. So we have a great topic ahead of us tonight. I'm so excited. This is the podcast where you can grab your girls. You can come sit down, grab a drink. But we're here talking about things that are very real for us and our own situations, and hopefully, giving some guidance along the way. Who knows?
I think it's real for us, and also just girlhood in general and womanhood, and what does that even mean? Right. So we just like to sit on our couch and chit chat.
Yep. We're just yapping.
And just a lot of yada yada.
A lot of yada yadas.
So if you're new here, we like to name each of our episodes after a 70s song. Mm-hmm. Disco Queens, disco music.
Avi.
Here we are.
We love a theme.
We love a theme. So tonight, we are naming our episode.
Da-da-da-da-da.
We're coming out of the kitchen. And if that doesn't give you an idea of what our topic is tonight, then let me tell you.
Right.
Sit down, shut up, and let's get going.
And get someone else to make you a sandwich, girl.
Yes, so we're coming out of the kitchen. This is from Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves by Eurythmics and Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
So, typically, we don't really give a lot of the background to the songs, but I just thought this one just needed a little extra seasoning.
A little season.
Needed a little extra background. So, Annie Lennox, she was the singer for Eurythmics, wanted to create a pop song-like thing. Same thing.
Yes. A disco song, but it has some 80s zhuzh.
Yes, it has the 80s zhuzh because it actually came out in 85, and typically when we think of disco, it feels like a specific time period, but it is a genre. Yeah. It is a genre of music. Mm-hmm. And so she wanted to create this song that was female empowerment, breaking down gender roles, independence, and a little bit of solidarity across racial lines. So originally, she was going to ask Tina Turner, which we know Tina.
We know Tina. Yep.
Lived about 30 minutes from where she was born. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Tina was not available, couldn't do it, whatever. And so she asked Aretha Franklin. And I just think that's so cool because, the other song that we were going to pick was Respect. I think this was, a really interesting fun fact. Like I said,
right.
I love history. She calls me a human textbook.
Yes.
Here we are.
I also love music and music history, and I thought that this was very interesting because I was asking Alex, during this time, this song had such power, and for it to come out during this time, it had to have been something going on. Yeah. So that's why we were looking into what was going on during that time. Yeah, so it's really interesting, the time period, this specific song, because during the 70s, this is second wave feminism. There's a lot of wins that are happening, and then you don't really hear about the feminist movement until about the 90s, early 2000s again. And so that is third wave. Yeah. So kind of in this, I don't want to say dead period, but in this lull. Post. Yeah. And so what I think was really interesting while we were reading about this is that solidarity across racial lines. Because a little fun fact about all the different waves of feminism, of a lot of movements, if you just study history, you see this trend. And so specifically with the feminist movement, a lot of Black women did not feel seen. They did not feel heard because a lot of the women, the white women, were operating still within those racial boundaries during the first wave, which was
late 1800s, early 1900s, right? We get the right to vote. And then the second wave, this is really happening concurrent with civil rights movement. And so a lot of Black female, specifically artists from my point of view, because that's where a lot of my education comes into play.
Right.
They did not feel seen, they did not feel heard, they felt very much ignored. And so I think this is a really interesting shift specifically within this song, that you have two very powerful women coming to create this female anthem.
Yeah.
So,
literally.
yeah, and we're only 85. So, realistically, you're only 15 years after the civil rights movement. So there's still, that's not even a generation.
Right.
That barely is a generation. So, like.
And then years and years later, you have the Black Lives Matter movement. And so that needed its own thing because there was so much, like, still oppression during this time. Yeah. And so I think that's really interesting that, like, Annie wanted to have a Black female artist to represent the song.
Yeah, so.
That's really important.
This is because go womanhood.
Yay, women!
So, our topic tonight, if you haven't guessed, is
women!
Once again, we talked about expectations of women last time.
Last episode, yeah.
Yes, so that was part one. Part two, this is expectation within a psychological as well as our role in society.
Yes. So we had roles. ROLLS in the first one, and this is roles. ROLES. So, yeah, we just wanted to talk about, like, we really had to have a two-parter because when you look at females specifically, like, there is that stigma that we talked about last time of physical appearance. And then now we're diving deeper into the psychological expectations, right? So the physical expectation, we dove into that. And now you have, like, it's so deeply embedded that it's so apparent today still. And it's like, how do we even break out of that? I don't even know.
I don't know
if we can.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about. As normal, we'd like to pull lyrics from our overall song.
Yes.
And the first one that really stood out to me was behind every man there had to be a great man, there had to be a great woman. And once again, if you study history, this is so evident. I could speak on this from a science. I wish my mom was here because she could sit there and tell you all. But if you go back, pop quiz, to season 1, we kind of already talked about this a little bit.
Exactly.
In our own professions. Within art, there were literal, like, clubs that barred women from joining because women just could not be great artists. Or of the husband, but what you didn't know is the wife was also this fantastic, groundbreaking artist as well. But she wasn't a part of the club, so you didn't know her.
No, exactly. And in music, like, even just the female representation of artists, it has been kind of difficult for us to find these songs that females sing specifically. And, like, season 2, we kind of strayed away from that because we wanted different songs and everything. But for the first one, we really tried to stick to female artists, and we had to dig for some music that had some of the topics we wanted to discuss. And so even just, like, in musicians, you see it in, like, conducting, you see it in even the music or the instruments itself, they have, like, gender roles, it seems. Like the flute or drums, and I was a drummer. And even, like, when I was in high school, I got bullied out of sexism because there was this little punk who told me that I couldn't play drums because I was a girl. And so, it's just what the trauma we go through, like.
So, no, I think that really speaks on the whole, like, society aspect of.
Yeah.
This is not a disco song, nor. I don't think this was even a 70s song. I think this was in the 80s. We Didn't Start the Fire.
Right.
By Billy Joel.
Yes.
Like, that's a fantastic metaphor. If you've ever watched his interview about that song, it's basically like, we didn't start the fire. The things that we're experiencing didn't just happen with us. Like, everybody has their own version. He's actually talking about things that happen in your 20s. But that same metaphor of this topic didn't start with us. It's not going to end with us. It didn't start with our moms. It didn't in with our moms and like so.
Grandma and yeah. Exactly. And I think I would hope, at least I can feel this, there is some, we're inching toward change, right? There have been changes. We are like allowed to have jobs now. Like, I think I talked about this in a previous episode where my mom's mom, my grandmother, like her husband at the time did not allow her to have a part-time job. And she was expected to be a stay-at-home mom. And I don't know if I've talked about Gran a lot on this, but she was she reminds me of Jenny from Forrest Gump, like that level of hippie, going to protests, like in the 70s. My mom was born in 1969, so like, well, she was in the 60s, and then in the 70s, just super hippie. She ended up living in California, so, you know, but I mean, that was my role model. That was somebody who I looked up to because I'm like, well, yeah, exactly. Go get your bag, girl. Go get that money. Like, if you want to go have a job. And I don't even know if she was doing anything like, I think she was just working at like a grocery store part-time. Right. And she had to keep it a secret. And then she found, you know, my granddad found out. And so it's just like even this generational trauma, like I'm experiencing that. And as a granddaughter, like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah. And so now, like, yeah, we can have jobs.
I think my biggest one was the, like, bank accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, you still see that.
Well, no, like, legally, you could not necessarily open a bank account without a man signing for you.
Well, and nowadays, still, they address it to Mr., like, my mom specifically has seen like documents where it'll say Mr. and Mrs. Bob Brown. And my mom's the one doing the finances. Like this is the household dynamic I grew up in. And so of course I'm going to be this independent like feminist woman because these are the women I grew up with. And like, yeah, no, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Brown. I'm sorry. My name's Tammy.
No, this is Tammy.
Like, no, this is Tammy. No, literally.
No,
and
I
so,
know.
and it's 2025, you guys. Like, I just think it's so interesting, and like women have to have this expectation, like even now in our 20s, and we talk about timeline. And we talk about
we started a podcast because of timeline.
Because like what are we supposed to be doing at this time? My mom was married at 23 and she had a baby at 27. And that was normal and that's what you did. And that's what people still do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get married because like I don't know. I can tell you I'm not wasting time on a relationship that I don't want to be in.
Right.
You know?
Just because you think you have to be.
Exactly. Or have kids. Like, that's a big deal right now. I think the birth rate is the lowest it's ever been. Because there's, like, all of this stuff coming out about, like, no, I think I want to live my life for myself, thanks.
Yeah.
And not for what is expected of me.
Well,
And once again, with women, like, there are literal laws from the government that women can and can't do. Certain things. And it just blows my mind because there's no laws like that for men. None.
Well, I think you're getting into a really interesting point. So one of the second lines, this was actually the line that you pulled out.
Yeah.
Which checks out, was the conscious liberation of the female state.
Yes.
The female state as in like our mind, our body, our soul, like just our overall autonomy.
Yeah.
And so I think that everything that we've been talking about so far goes on female archetypes that we can't escape. Yeah. They're here and, you know, it's just something that... And these are archetypes within, like, that social lens, right? I'm not saying that individual people in our lives are like, you. No.
You have to be. Well, I don't know, my granddad. No, I'm just... I mean, I bet we do know people close to us who...
Yeah.
expect that.
Yeah.
You know? Not our direct people, but there are people in our lives that we know.
No, let me tell you right now, I was raised by some fiery women.
Exactly.
Like,
Same.
my great-grandmother slept with a pistol next to her and had chewing tobacco, and she said, I have a gun.
No, quite literally.
She's like, I'm sorry, did you backtalk me?
Yeah, really.
No, she was mean.
Yeah.
I only knew her for a few years, and then she passed away. But anyway, but like both of my like immediate grandmothers, I think they were very like saucy and fiery in their own way. And then of course y'all met my mother, and there's so much strength that I immediately learned from her. And I look now that I realize kind of what we're gonna go through some of these like archetypes, and yes, I heard them from a social side of like being in school or going to church or just like playing sports. Like, oh my, we could get into
that's a whole thing. Softball versus baseball.
Yeah.
Alone. That alone. Yeah.
Well, it's really.
We can't play football.
Can't play football. Well, I think there was I did a whole speech on this actually, where it was the women's soccer team. The U.S. women's soccer team has played less than the men's, but then had all of these trophies and they had won all these things. And I also played soccer, in case people didn't know that. But like all that foundation started with my mom. And so like that's really where we break down. And then we build paths. Maybe that's what I should have said earlier. We are one brick in the path.
Yeah.
Of the overall acceptance, not just of like, because sometimes I feel like for me, looking at like what typical gender roles have been thrusted upon us, but also what I was expected as a girl growing up versus I have a 16-year-old brother. And how do I, because I think this comes up a lot with feminism, and people are like, oh, you just hate guys, don't you? And I'm like, that's not the conversation. Actually, a lot of feminism is equity for all.
Exactly.
And that's what it's turned into, and that's why what I mentioned earlier was really important.
Right.
But like equity for all, it's like parental maternity leave, so for men to be able to have the same amount of time with their newborn. That was feminism.
Yes, because like in raising human beings, right? You really, you need that like paternal love as well. And so like that's what has happened is like, okay, so the man goes out and works and the woman bears the child and the woman takes care.
And then the woman
is the nurturer.
And the woman goes crazy and then gets on pills, and now there's childhood trauma because why does my mother hate me? But my mother's the crazy one and my dad's absent.
Yes.
Do you know like attachment theory?
And no, because it's literally like that has been the cycle. That's been the cycle. So we as mental health providers, like people wonder why their behaviors are the way that they are, or like some people are the way they are, and like it's inevitable because this has literally been the generational curse. Like,
yeah, I think it goes back to, I've said this several times because it's my favorite. I actually said it today in session.
Yeah.
It's my favorite quote from Maya Angelou, and this is my paraphrase, okay? Her words are way more elegant than mine. But basically, we don't know how to do better until we learn better. And how do we learn better? We have to kind of confront
the difficult things.
Yeah, the uncomfortable conversations.
Even things that are like outside of our control. Like it's not like my family specifically was like that. Like I told y'all, my mom was the one, she has just done the finances. Well, her grandfather was a banker.
Right.
Like, and so she learned at a very young age about all of that. So when she met my dad, like, you know, she was like, I got this, whatever. And he let her. He's like me, and like, I don't know. I could just set automatic and like, I don't
hope the money's there.
Hope the money's there. But yeah, like, so my direct influence has not been that, but there have been things surrounding me.
That's not your only direct influence, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I did have a direct influence on like an expectation of me with a guy that I was talking to. This was last January. And I was talking to this guy, and it was like over Christmas and stuff. And we were, I was visiting home and trying to get to know him and blah, blah, blah. Like, we were texting. He kept sending me TikToks of like these videos of men with women, and like, it was like the man's money. And it was like saying something about how the man was like spending the money on the woman, but it was like always going back to saying like it was the man's money. Okay, so it was very vague stuff like that, and he was just sending it. No context, right? Mm-hmm. Probably to get a reaction. And so I was just kind of like, what is this, right? And eventually he asked me what roles I viewed in a relationship. Like, what roles do I think women have in a relationship? I quite literally said, what roles?
Like with butter?
Like, what roles? I have roles. What? I like to eat rolls. Sister Schubert, specifically.
Sister Schubert, will you call my name?
Yeah. So he said, he asked me this. I'm like taken aback because I was like,
yeah.
What do you mean by that? And then, and I didn't even like end it there because I'm like, still trying to get to know him, whatever. I should have ended it there. Actually, never mind.
Actually, you're done.
So, he asked me this. We're still yapping, whatever. And then eventually, again, the night that I did like actually decide to end things, we were in the car, and I don't even know what we were talking about. Maybe it was like, we were talking about the different, like our differences basically. And he said something about, well, if I ever run into a feminist, I'm running the other way. It's something to that effect.
Interesting.
And I said, funny you say that because I am one. So, and I think that's where that comes in of like, oh, well, all feminists hate men, and so I don't like feminists because of that. It's like, actually, no, we just are trying to press for equality because what do you mean you're wanting us to be in the kitchen cooking you a sandwich?
And what do you mean? And it wasn't even just that. Like, you were literally being trapped. Not you. Women.
Yes.
We're literally being trapped.
Yes. And it was the expectation to get married, to be the bearer of children, to be the nurturer, to be the cook, clean, everything, to be the housewife, not have jobs.
Well, sorry, I just had a flashback to, once again, like my own experiences. And like, even then, I would love to have my grandmother on here. Come on, Mama. Her mom worked.
In the 70s?
She was in her 20s in the 70s. She was in her 20s in the 70s.
Yes.
So, disco era, she would have been in her 30s.
Wow.
Yeah. But her mom didn't. She wasn't a housewife.
Yeah.
She worked. She was a beautician. She actually was going to be a nurse. Mm. And then this was in the 20s and 30s, and her family couldn't afford the schooling. And so she became a beautician, and they had a little shop on the side of their house, and that's where she worked. Yeah. And she worked sun up, sun down, curling ladies' hair, and really, like, my grandmother, like, her father was the one that, like, would help cook dinner, and like, he was a principal, and he was also a lot older. I think there was like a 5 or 6 years age difference, and so I don't know that off the top of my head. But even just, once again, we were talking about how do you break these stereotypes? How do you break down this societal expectation? And like, I feel like yours is probably more direct because, like you said, your grandmother, that's your grandma. That's one generation.
It's my mom's mom.
Right. That's, I guess, technically 2 generations away.
Yeah.
But for me, that's 3. And my grandmother worked. My grandmother was a stay-at-home mom by choice. They had a conversation.
Right.
I actually remember saying that in my women's studies class. And I was like, they had a conversation about it. And my grandmother had a really hard time having my mom spent, and so she wanted to enjoy that time.
Yeah,
of course. And then once my mom was out of the house, like my grandmother works at the church.
Yeah.
And so she always was busy little bot. Busy. Yeah.
And sometimes I think, like, when we talk about this, you know, I think that would be nice. Because I do like doing things around the house, like in my own home, you know. I think it's just like, I'm doing this for someone else. I like cleaning and I like cooking.
And you like cooking for people.
Yes, I like doing that, but I don't want that to be expected of me.
Right.
You know? And so when I think if it were my choice, like, I would love not to work a 9 to 5, let me tell you something. And also, I remember, or I have to, like, remind myself, like, it's a privilege that I get to do this today. Because at one point it wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, generations of women fought for us to have this. Yeah. And so we just have to think, like, you know, even us just doing this right now is just speaking out about our situation and, like, for our future people.
Well, I think this is a great time to talk about kind of these archetypes, because what I was about to say is the final one of this transition. You're not quite there yet, but this was definitely something that was swirling around in my head with my upcoming birthday.
Yeah.
So and these are just some that we could think of off the top of our head, of just our own personal experiences, historically thinking, so on and so forth.
Right.
And so I feel like every woman's gone through, like, when you're 12 and under, like, you're this little girl. Well, don't, what's the line? You play
ball like a girl. Like, yeah, you can't play drums because you're a girl.
Right.
You're not good enough. You can't do these certain things because of your gender. And while we were talking about this, it just reminded me of the movie He's Just Not That Into You. And how it was, like, the narrative, it was always told to little girls, like, oh, if a boy's mean to you, that means he likes you. Okay, what do you mean by that? Why are we normalizing that behavior? That literally was told to me.
Yeah.
I had this little boy when I was a girl, and it was a church, and he would, like, mess with me and be, like, mean and bully and whatever. And yeah, no, I was told that, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
I got it.
But yeah, and so even at a young age, even that, I was a little girl. Why are people telling me that this boy likes me?
Yeah.
Like, why are you setting me up for
that's
reproduction?
No, because that's gonna come into the next arc. So this first archetype is that, like, little girls are whiny and cryy and weak, and I distinctly remember
crying because you're a girl, like,
right? No, because
that's a boys, like, because we can't have a full range of emotion. Oh my God.
No, because I remember, because I played sports growing up. I literally have played sports my entire life. Well, not anymore, because I'm obviously old.
Yeah.
But
because I'm obviously old.
I'm obviously just dust in the wind.
We look like old women tonight, so it's fine.
But no, I remember any boy, because, like, that was the thing in sports. Boys would be like, huh, yeah, you think you can play? And it would make me so mad. I would get so fired up. All the way through high school, I would get so fired up. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Because I'm literally playing this game well.
Like, I'm playing it well.
Successfully.
Well, I would have other soccer boys say stuff, and I'm like, we play the exact same game.
And I play better than you.
And, like, we have a better record than you. I'm confused.
Yeah. No.
And, like,
that situation with me and the drums or whatever, like, I was section leader for 2 years.
Yeah.
What do you mean I can't play?
What do you mean?
Because I can play better than you. Clearly. So, I don't understand.
So you have this, like, archetype of, like, oh, I remember in gym class that, so, mind you, I wasn't the fastest, but I was very fast as a kid. When we would do, like, field day and stuff, I was constantly put in the relay and, like, the 50-yard dash or something. And I was constantly getting, like, first and second. I remember, like, 3rd grade, I won the relay. I was the last leg. No. And And I remember, I guess I was in 6th or 7th grade. This is actually really embarrassing to talk about. I haven't thought about this since then. But we were playing this game, and there was supposed to be one person that was like running around as like the healer. I don't know, it was some gym class game. They were the healer. Right. And everybody on our side, because I mean there was probably about 50 kids in there.
Right.
So we had like 20 on each side. So everybody that was on my side of they're like, oh, like you're really fast, like you should be one of the healers. I think we could have 2. And one boy convinced all the other boys, like, no, like, blah, blah, blah. So here, as everybody had already decided, and I was excited, I never really got to, like, once middle school, I was so awkward in middle school, I didn't really get those, like, special parts or anything like that, or, like, people, like, complimented me like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool. And the guy's like, no, you can't do it because you're a girl. Said that to my face, and I remember I felt them brimming, and I was crying because I was so pissed off. I was so mad. Also, why am I towering over you?
Yes. No, I could literally kick you across the room right now. Say that again and see what happens. I mean, that's, wasn't there a movie where it was like they're little kids and the girl like beats up the boy or something? Was that something?
The beginning of Miss Congeniality is like this, that, but I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I think I have, but it's just been years. Yeah. And I remember like,
she does beat him up.
Yeah.
Miss Congeniality was another one of my favorites growing up. I mean, because she's a strong
now you know why.
Woman. But no, yeah. I remember. I mean, I was crying. He's like, "See, you cry like you can't even handle." And I was crying because I was pissed, and I was like shaking. I was stuttering, and finally, my friends like took me to our gym coach, and he's like, "What's wrong?" Which he was like, he went to school with my dad, so like. That small town dynamic. Right. And so he's like, Alex, what's wrong? Like, what? Like, I never cried. I mean, I had ran into walls. They saw my ankle turn. Like, I was not a crier. Mm-hmm. I literally took a line drive to the chest, and my mom's like, you good? And I said, just give me a second. No tears. Mm-hmm. No tears. Mm-hmm. No more. Anyway. And the coach looked at me and he said, well, you know what? I'm the gym coach. So he walked over and he said, no, this is what's happening. And he took one of the healing spots and gave it to me. And to me, that was embarrassing because like, well now, like, it just looks like I went into the teacher and got everybody in trouble, even though like I was one of the athletic girls in there. Like there were several other basketball players. There were several other softball players. Like, like there was a group of athletic girls in there, but they wouldn't get picked because the boys said, I play football. Which is fine. Football is an athletic sport.
Disgusting though.
Why can't we both be athletic?
That's so gross. I did the same thing. I went to the band director and reported him for bullying because this just unlocked a whole thing in my brain of this whole situation. So this happened for years, like basically all 4 years, and I hated this kid. And anyway, I had just gotten section leader. It was my junior year, and he was a senior. So that was like, he was like the only senior, and a junior girl got section leader.
Oh no.
So then he had it out to get me, blah, blah, blah. Well, I just knew he hated me. And at this point I was like, I literally don't care because I love playing the drums. Like I love playing the snare drum, and like, I'm not going to quit because of some measly boy. Well, it went on for so long. I was doing taps one day on the field. He had untuned my drum so low that it sounded like a bass drum. And he had to do the taps. I was so livid. And so
that is crossing a line.
Yes, that is bullying at its finest. Like, you can say whatever you want to me, but then as soon as like you do that.
Right.
No.
It's no longer words. Like, you're doing actions and they're petty actions.
Yes. So he also told the substitute teacher that he was going to burn her house down. And so we got suspended. And good. Anyways, but yeah, no, I sure did go to the band director after that because I was like, this is not okay. Now I'm being affected by it. Like, I can't do my job. I'm not here to do my job.
Now there's paranoia.
well, exactly. I'm like, now I don't want you to burn my house down just because I'm a girl. Like, because I'm a girl. I'm just a girl. So, yeah, no, like, that whole situation was...
Yeah.
insane.
Well, I wanted to pick up something that you were saying earlier because it goes right into our next archetype.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because that was happening you were in high school, right?
Yep.
So teenage girls, everyone's like, oh my
Yep.
gosh, like they're the devil, they're drama.
The drama.
They're young women. No, they're girls. They are young.
No, they're children.
They are literally children if you're under the age of 18. And you're talking about like, oh, like, does that boy like you? Stuff like that. And I always thought this was really interesting. When we were making our outline, I brought this up, and you didn't know the term. I don't know if any of our listeners or viewers out there would know the term as well. But it coincides with that young woman phrase. Once you hit a certain age, once you're a teenager and you're a girl, you're a young woman. You're a young woman, and that can lead to a lot of implications.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, there's a lot of context that can go with it, and a lot of complicated crap. So,
Complicated crap.
One of the terms that I think it's actually been one that I've learned recently, like in probably the past 3 years, and it was the term Lolita. If you are a little Lolita. And
I didn't know what that was until we talked about it.
Yeah, so basically a little Lolita. This was a 1950s novel that basically here's this like young, potentially preteen teen girl that was she was promiscuous and sensual and trying to get the attention of a much older man. So we can already see where the problems are here, right?
Also, the purity culture. Can we talk about that for a second? In this?
For girls.
Yes.
No, because I just watched The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And she's like, isn't it a double-edged sword, you know, when they're in their circle? And she's like, if you admit that you have, then you're a slut. And if you admit that you haven't, then you're a prude. And I was like, I mean,
No, literally.
there's no winning
Guys,
no girl.
I just saw something. I don't know what it was, a show or whatever it was, but I just saw something about that, and it was like, okay, so if you're a woman, then like, yeah, you're a slut. If you are a man, then you're like, good for you, bro. You know, notch of the bedpost, like that's.
Yeah, no, but
And during this time, yeah, like that's. When I was in middle school, like 12 and under, but like teen, that's what we would call each other. Like, that was such it was the Mean Girls, you know, time period. And so that was like such the thing. But that was that culture at the time.
right,
Like,
that's also the early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a Little Lolita, it ended up becoming a movie. And the reason I ended up learning this term is because I was watching other movies and it came up, and then I went down a rabbit hole. So this is one of my rabbit hole. But it is really interesting because it started in the 50s. The movie that I was watching came out in the early 2000s. And so that's 50 years that this archetype, it wasn't just an archetype in a book. This was literally affecting actresses' careers of like they were being stereotyped and typecast into, oh, well, obviously you didn't play the character that was promiscuous. You are now promiscuous.
Right.
You are now damaged goods because you wanted to be blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And so I think that is hand in hand with purity culture of fear. It's all fear of like, well, you don't want to end up like Becky Sue over there.
I literally was just thinking of, when you were talking about all of this, Stockard Channing and Olivia Newton-John in Grease.
Yes. No, period.
Literally that dichotomy is you have Sandra Dee.
Pure.
Look at me, I'm Sandra Dee. Lousy with virginity. Oh, got it.
The pure, no piercing. Don't wrap my hair. Ew. I get ill from one cigarette.
Like, literally, we could do a whole musical on this.
Actually, our podcast.
No, because we have to review that.
We have to.
We have to review that. So in Greece, and you literally have this visual representation, because we kind of talked about last time with our representation in media physically. And so here you have it again. And like that there was a whole movie on it. There was a whole movie on female roles. Okay. And if you're a teen, mind you, they're in high school. Side note, they're like 40 years. Get younger actors,
that would be
bro.
us. We would be in Greece right now.
Yes. I think we did look up their age, and there's like some of them that were like 37.
I think she was in her 30s.
Yeah. I mean, they look it. Anyway, so, and they're playing high schoolers.
That's the issue, mind you.
Right.
But we'll get there.
Right. So, but in high school, and you're dealing with this, like, really?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like Stalker Channing, like, of course, whatever, she has this little boyfriend, Kaniki, and Rizzo. I don't know why I'm calling her Stalker Channing, because I love her. Anyway.
No, because she's fantastic.
Because I actually know her name.
Because I
know her personally. I am her.
I am her.
But yeah, so she, like, Rizzo dates Kaniki, like, whatever, and she's labeled this slore. She's a slore.
She's a slore.
So she's labeled the promiscuous
woman.
The promiscuous young woman. She's a child.
Well, the character is supposed to be a child.
Supposed to be a child. They're seniors in high school, so they're like 17, turning 18.
Right.
But yeah, you guys get it. You've probably seen Grease, but I mean, it's just so real, and like even down to the outfit design.
Because
speaking of, you should talk about what you were expected to wear as a little.
No, because yes, no, yes. No, yes, because I forgot about that one. So literally we were talking about this earlier, and so I feel like this 12 and under of like the whitey little girl and the teen of like all you are is drama and you're just promiscuous and like everybody knows like dress codes and in school and like can't show your shoulder because that distracts everything. Because
it's distracting to men. Boys, sorry. It's distracting to children.
Well.
So, I can understand not wearing something like super low cut or like showing your butt or like, you know what I'm saying? Even like the holes in the pant. But that whole stigma of dress code was made for girls to not look promiscuous for boys. Why is that a problem? Why is this a problem? Why don't they have dress codes like that?
Well, they do, but so that goes into the fashion industry. You see how it just one rabbit hole goes into another. It's actually a cave. So, you know, we were talking about the media representation of literally that teen drama and that dichotomy of the good girl and the promiscuous young woman. And I feel like that lends itself into the young 20s. That good girl now is desirable and she's the prime age and now she needs to get married and have kids. The timeline. Every woman, every girl knows the timeline.
She's ripe. The ripe age.
The ripe old age here.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And the biological clock situation.
Everybody just take a deep breath. We're here with you.
We're about to do meditation real quick. I'm going to bring out my song bowls because I'm feeling the stress. But yeah, like there's this biological clock that's set on literal young women because your 20s, you're a young woman, I feel like at that point.
Right. Well, I just know how many, myself included, I wanted to be a young mom. Yeah. And then I did want to be a mom. That changed very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the young 20s, that's like, I mean, how many movies are there that they're like, oh, you're 18? Oh, you're 20?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was literally like last week we were talking about wishing for younger days. Like,
What's your name, little girl?
nothing.
What Motley Crue song, Sweet 16?
I didn't really know Motley Crue that well.
I forget. So many songs represented that talks about young, quote, young women, meaning them in their teens. But to me, young woman is your 20s.
Yeah.
But I feel like even by now, like, there are people in this world, unfortunately, that like once you're 18, you're not desirable anymore.
No, and it's a thing, but it's a thing because it goes
ridiculous.
So reason why I brought Lolita up is because that stems from that. Mm-hmm. This idea of once you start looking like a woman,
and you can bear children.
Hey brother.
Hey brother.
And so, like, the 20s, and I feel like this also, maybe this is only personal, I don't know. That switch from 20s, like, I was going to be a college-educated young woman.
Right.
That was always my goal. And that's not everybody's goal, and that's totally fine. And I think that once you turn 18, and now you're an adult now, and you're into this whirlwind of the life of being a young woman. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you are immediately supposed to live for somebody else. You're supposed to get married. You're supposed to start having kids.
Let me just tell you, I am like so Taurus. It's in my chart like a million times, okay? I don't know what all planets I am, but regardless, it is like written in the stars for me to be independent because I don't want anybody else telling me what to do. I mean, my family and I have this running joke, like when I was 2 years old, I just always said, or probably even younger, when I started talking, it was, I could do it by myself. And that was just always the thing. I mean, I watched videos of me even at like 1 year old where I'm like, I don't want to wear this hat. I don't want to do this because I can do it, you know? And I just think about, like, I dated this guy, the actual last Facebook official relationship that I had, this was 6 years ago, guys. Like, that was 6 years ago. And because of this, no, I'm done. I am no longer getting into a relationship just for a relationship's sake. Right. No. But yeah, like we were going to a Christmas party and he was critiquing my driving. First of all, why was I driving? So that, but whatever, I'll drive. I don't care. But yeah, then he's going to sit there and critique it and like, ew. Then he love bombed me at the party. Like, we're sitting there talking to his friends. He has his arms around me, like trying to get off me. Get off. No. And then like we left and he's critiquing me again. And I'm like, ew. No, because that's annoying. Like, what do you mean you're going to sit here and control me and then like have me as your piece, like your arm candy, like
your trophy.
Ew.
You're the dead
whole
fish.
Person. The dead fish. No. So anyway, I haven't dated since because I'm just so painfully independent. Like, you have to bring something to the table. Yeah. Also, this guy was a scrub, so, I mean, he had to have his prize, you know? And that's all I'm disgusted.
Enough airtime for him. He's done.
Blah. Blah.
No, because then now, so
right.
You said that's been 6 years. So that kind of goes into the
I was 22.
last-ish archetype. I don't know if we consider that last one an archetype or not, but the last-ish archetype of your late 20s into your 30s, you are now an old maid. You are now a spinster. You are past your prime. Like, you are unmarriable. You are blah, 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 blah.
The biological clock.
You're obviously dead, so whatever.
Oh my God.
Live up life.
Once again, my grandmother, my mom's mom, was yapping about her because literally love her. Obviously, you know, she's my family, but she had another child at 40 years old. Because she was the woman who was like, no, because I can do it. I can do it. I can have this job and a baby. I can do what I want. I'm going to move across the country because I want to. And did. And she was like, you know what? I think, and she, like, remarried, whatever. I think I'm going to try and have this baby. Has a baby at 40.
Period.
He was 6 years old when I was born. So I have an uncle that's 6 years older than me.
So crazy.
But yeah, I'm like, what biological clock? Who?
No, so this goes into something that literally, I'm really excited about our next adventure. Because we had mentioned something earlier. It was Grease that I had this. Grease the movie, not Grease the country. It can get confusing with us.
Because we had both. I hate us sometimes.
I'm our biggest fan.
No, I love it so much.
So we're talking about Grease and like why is this 30-year-old woman playing a 17-year-old? Because in our society, being younger is so.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. It's so desirable to be younger and to look younger and yada, yada, yada. And also, I think a lot of that has to play into this idea of now that you're in your 30s, you're past your prime.
Yeah.
After 30, like, women, like, disappear. You should already be a mother. You should already be a wife. Your identity is no longer, it's not you. You are so-and-so's wife. You are so-and-so's mom. You are so-and-so's daughter. Like, you don't have your own identity. And so after 30, that's what you've seen over generations and generations and generations. And so we are wanting to review movies and just, one, to change things up for the YouTube.
The YouTube.
And
like, also just look back at that time period and be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that they just said that.
Right.
Or, just like commentate during this time, because media, what was allowed to be shown in movies and media, and then also like what was going on in that time, and just like some funsy stuff, like look at the style, look at what they're wearing, like look at their little conversation pit.
So just seeing how these archetypes have kind of always been here. Yeah. And so, So, and I think that was the question that's kind of like revolving around my mind. I'm officially 30. I turned 30, and here I am. We love it. And like those archetypes are still like here, which is funny because I've actually been told that I'm too young to know anything. And I said, you realize that I'm almost 30. I am 30. This was an old conversation.
Right.
So I said almost 30, but I'm 30. And so, those archetypes now go into that one-dimensional plane of you're the mother, the nagging wife. What did you say earlier with the 1950s, like, air raid commercial?
I don't remember.
The mother and...
Oh, you have it written up here. It was the mother, the nagging wife, the bitch. So that is quite literally the definition. Like, you've seen it in media, you've seen it in movies. Like, they paint this picture of this woman, and
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, because let me tell you, there's one movie that we will be reviewing, and I'm so excited because Susanna's never actually sat down and watched it. And it didn't dawn on me, I watch it every year. It's a Thanksgiving movie to me.
Yes.
Always has been. And I was watching it this year, and I was like, whoa, I've never caught this line until now. So it's Rocky. If you've been here, I love Rocky. I love the movie. I love the series. I think it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And so you have Adrian, which is she's not the wife yet. She's the
girlfriend.
She's the
friend.
ingenue. She's the love interest.
Mm.
And she's in her 30s, and Rocky's in his 30s, and the brother, who is just like this beat down alcoholic at this point, and Rocky's taking, you're gonna see this, but he's taking her.
I mean, I've seen it
on, he's taking her on the date. And the brother's like, what do you want to date her for? Like she's 30, she's washed up, like she's an old man. Like he's literally saying this, and Rocky goes, so what? I'm 32. Like, I'm 30.
Yeah, because what do you mean 30? Like, that's what I feel like is so great. There is some change, right? Like, we still see some stuff, but at least now people are starting to wake up. Our generation is starting to wake up because people are either not having kids or having kids later on in life. And, like, people are chasing careers first. Women specifically are chasing careers and getting very successful. And, like, and 30 is the thriving time now. Yeah. Like 20s, you're still figuring out life. Like, hopefully there's more financial gain when we're in our 30s and like, just more, I don't know, solidifying life at that point. Like, okay, I've experienced all of the things that I needed to in my 20s, and I had to learn some things the hard way. And now I'm able to like step into adulthood. And I think that that should be the proper thing because like, yeah, that's why I think 20s is young women. Because like when you're 30, like I feel like, yes, now I'm officially a woman. I have not felt like a woman, like calling myself a woman, even still, you know? Yeah. And so for people to look at a 14-year-old child and call her a young woman, like, I'm terrified. Listen. It's a child. No, but I don't even remember being 14. Like,
right. Well, I think that's something that we've talked about in this atmosphere of us recording and like doing all this is we're just taking up space. We're here just talking about not just our own personal experiences, but things that can feel very universal. And listen, we're not going away anytime soon. Yes. So
we have some things up our sleeves.
On that note, I think that's everything we've got to say for this round.
Yes.
So typically we like to end with advice to our younger selves or to just the universe.
Yeah.
And so what
you can take it or leave it. I have said this before and I'll say it again. What are roles? I have roles. I eat rolls. Like, I don't know what a roll is. Because just be human and be yourself. And you don't have to fit this mold that people are wanting you to be in and society is trying to force women in. And like, I don't know. I really have hope for the future because there has been some change. There are things that are like backtracking a little, but I think moving forward, ultimately, like women are trying to come forward in the world and be human beings and be successful and independent. And I don't know. I thrive on that.
Yes. No.
Be independent.
Be independent.
Don't live your life for someone else. Live it for you.
Period. I think my advice, specifically to my younger, I was definitely thinking of younger Alex because we've talked about how like anxious I was growing up, and this was also just something that was very much instilled into me, which also probably leads a little bit to my anger issues. But you'll always be labeled, but just keep striving for your goals because guess what? We cannot go against the macroverse, the societal level by ourselves. But what we can do is we can be our most authentic self in our little micro world. And then we can
make a difference, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
And
well, you just think of all the icons.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So you just got to push back, you know? I think that's so real. Like, you are always going to be labeled. And you know what? Who cares what other people are going to say about you? Because I needed to hear that as a younger self is people are going to say what they want about you. Like there's going to be some people that like you and some that don't. And you just need to accept that and move on. Like you cannot move in this world and constantly think about how other people are viewing you. And I think for women specifically, we have to break out of that because it has like women deal with a lot of open insecurities. Like that is just like a blanket thing. Yeah. And it has to do with physicality, but it also has to do with psychologically that we have had this oppression on us in our entire existence. And, you know, you just got to break out of that. Yeah. You just don't listen to it and keep moving and you do you and be your authentic self.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Authenticity.
And you got this, girl.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess that wraps us up. So this is the end of season 2.
Yeah.
So next season we will be stirring some things up. We're gonna be trying out a new format. We're gonna be trying some new things.
We have a new location.
That we're going to reveal. There's so many exciting things that will be coming. So
we are getting merch.
We are.
I have said that every episode, but we are for real.
Yes. Our season 3, we are bringing in 1 year of Disco Queens.
A whole year. What do you mean? We've been doing this for a year.
A whole year.
And now we're about to live a street apart.
We are literally a street apart.
Literally.
LOL.
And to think, like, we started this whole thing when you were driving 2 hours. I was driving 2 hours. I was driving 5 hours.
Yeah, you lived in St. Louis.
I lived in St. Louis
for Valentine's Day. We can almost say Halloween. So there's lots of exciting things coming out for season 3.
A new era.
A new era, new year, new era, same Disco Queens.
So I guess that's that.
That's that.
Until next time, stay groovy.
Okay, sorry.
Here we go.
Okay, ready?
Okay. Ah! Okay, here we go. Oh. It's Patrick.
Ma'am. No, this is Patrick.
Here's like mail.
Look at all the feathers.
I know.
Okay.
I get excited.
I know.
Oh my god. This collar is... I'm overstimulated.
That's what my cat does.
No, that's what I do when I'm overstimulated. I'm ready to be done. Okay, let's go.